this is a poem called 11 Self-Portraits. The damage an acrylic stroke can do, the pierced easel seeping scarlet, butterflies freed from a soot-clouded cage, living paint staining a corroded blade, delicately adding the finishing touches, atrophied fingers manipulating brushes, sunken cheekbones complementing a concave glare, expressionless eyes crying out for repair. The artist stood naked, surrounded by paintings, overloaded by output from a tense, cluttered mind. Aspirins fizzing, decomposing, dividing, clicking like cogs in coffee mugs. Van Gogh sunflowers in place of mirrors, emulsion cans clotted with curdling sinew, drowning in the shallow end of woodworm and mildew, fitted to the floorboards, unpitied and scorned. Unearthed 8 days later, stock still and shabby, a caricatured canvas sucked dry by scavengers, no evidence of suicidal confession, except the possession of a parting gift. A series of unsigned pictures, painted in pastel for no one in particular, bequeathed to bias, blindness and bigotry, then ultimately seen only by men branded by uniform, regiment and number. Besides that, just a coroner and mortuary assistant, who found them too unnerving. 11 self-portraits, the first servile and starving. Every family tie and friendly face, paling to a transparency of thrusted malaise. The subject himself subjected in surveillance, finding every solid object reduced to dirt, waning away like grains of sand. Another depicted a hairless rabbit in the headlights, absorbed by partitions plastered with broadsheet clippings, editorial renditions of other men's revolutions, carved from the heart, bonded in a membrane and sternly clenched in a tensing hand. There was a disparaging glower to a stack of soiled banknotes tumbling from a refuse sack, amongst ready meal flat pack and discoloured silver spoons, others spilling to a separate scene of discarded books, defiled, obsolete. What followed was a blur, fragments of unspoken lines from an ill-fated play which scarcely saw the light of day, coarse sketches exercising the ugliness of economics, satire from the bottom of a smeared glass, stanzas too sick for human consumption, half-drawn and nauseous with regret, articulate the wretchedness of a head that drinks to forget. National Health Service bottles of prescription drugs, wrought with slogans. There's a fine line between writing out verse and screaming in the gutter. Nobody likes a poet with a stutter. Man is a writhing sack of bones, reluctantly dragged on the length of rope. The subsequent gravitational pull hauls the body lower than zero, until it surveys itself in negative symmetry. An image of nudity run aground in the garden of tears, partially raised, a swelling red X signalling contamination, obscuring reproductive organs. An image of plague, feverish pestilence without pity, blemish on Adam's rotten apple, despised like the exile of a biblical leper colony. An image of crucifixion, bent nails hammered through bare feet. An image in an open coffin, drawn, quartered, embalmed in concrete. And then, in explanation, a script in fountain pen. There is no getting away from the shade where towers are grouped in sectors of 10. Incomplete manuscripts are hard to bear, dirtied with confessions that I daren't share. Acidic rain is trickling down, the population passes without a sound. It's beautiful, but I forget what beauty is when all seems dead. God knows I've tried, to all good night. The 11th portrait, protected by a veil, remained untroubled until the house clearing came. Where others dealt with demons that drove them to death, exposures of nudity, heresy, profanity, the end saw a smile, the artist finely dressed, in a suit tailored from tattered threads, surrounded by botanic pressings, bouquets and plants, contemplating the world beyond the sash window, with an almost hesitant backward glance. And past the madness of a suffering outside, while cars, planes and humans collide, the church bells chime, birds and blossom trees thrive, the willows weep with artistic design. Lovers embrace, expectant, unspoilt. Seeds incubate to restore equilibrium as another body is returned to the soil.